It is April 5th, 2021. I am home. I'm back in the U.S. Thankful to make it back okay. Thank you for all the well wishes. But in this video, I want to discuss whether or not it's safe to travel to Colombia. Is it a good idea right now? Well, let's discuss. Follow along.
Hey, watching man right now, you're watching dcbornrob on YouTube.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located, and thanks for watching. My name is Rob Christian, also known as DC Rob or DC Born Rob, or Rob. I answer to them all. Just getting back from Medellin, Colombia. Happy to be back in my studio. You know, I love my studio. It's totally different recording from an Airbnb or a hotel. So I'm glad to be back. And number one, I'm glad to be back safely too. Thank you for all the well wishes and all the advice I'd gotten along the way. Stay safe, brother. Are you safe? Where you stand? Man, don't get involved. Stay safe. Stay safe. Be safe. I got a lot of that. And trust me, it's like you listen to it. You know, I listen to it. It's like, you know, if you meet 20 people throughout the day and 15 of them say you smell, you need to reevaluate your smell. So when so many people told me to be safe, you know, I took it to heart. I'd always taken my own precautions. I want you to know, just because I said use a money pouch a long time ago, do I wear one? Well, I'm not going to say either way or where I put my particular stuff now. I have to be a little safer. Is Medellin as safe as it was the last time I went before the lockdowns? I didn't feel it. I didn't feel as safe, in other words. Put it this way, I used to walk around with my cell phone out, my camera on a gimbal, the big deal, you know, big rig walking around. It was nothing for me. Now, it's the combination of being recognized. I mean, I was recognized on the plane coming home. I was recognized eating breakfast in my hotel, recognized at Sweet Georgia Cafe, recognized when I walked up to Brooklyn's. So, you know, it's a little weird when people know you, but you don't know them, or you don't know they know you. So, and you don't know who in Colombia is watching your videos too. So, and I do know that some Colombians are watching my videos, because I'm going to discuss later in this video the SOS Colombia alerts that I'm getting from Colombians in Colombia to get the word out. And I'll tell you why too, because social media supposedly has been shut down in Colombia now. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to read you a story about it anyway. I want to run through a little bit of news, but I want you to know that I did make it safe. I did take it seriously, and I didn't break any laws or too many laws or whatever. Being out, I don't know if that's a law, curfew or whatever, but you know, it's a little loose, but I didn't push it. I just want you to know that. And for all the people who say that, you know, I'm out in the middle of a protest, it's not my business. Why am I out there? The only reason I went out is to show you guys what was going on. Now, everybody has their own level of security and safety. I have mine. I grew up in Washington, D.C. This is not my first protest. I mean, I've seen the cops get aggressive and push first, and that's my experience. I don't know what happened that day. I don't know what's happening all across the country right now, but I'm telling you my experience growing up in D.C. and being involved in protest or anti-protest, like anti-protest against the Klan. I was actually caught on WTTG, Fox, local Fox affiliate, throwing a brick. So that was a long time ago, first of all, but I know how it happens. They push, you push back, you know, they push again, you push back even harder. But the problem is they got sticks and they got guns. And so guess who's going to lose in the end? But the message has to be heard. So I'm going to show some raw footage at the end of this video of what's going on. I have people sending me stuff via WhatsApp. Sending me videos via email, comments, links and comments. So I'm going to do, I guess it's not my job. I'm not a reporter. Somebody accused me, you're a wannabe reporter or whatever, but I'm not a reporter. I'm just showing it from my point of view. I encourage you to travel. I encourage you to travel this world. I encourage you to travel your city, your state, and your country. But is it safe right now? I can't tell you whether or not to go one way or another. I can only tell you whether or not I would and the precautions that I would take. So with that said, you know, some people say I'm in the middle of someone else's business when I walked up to the protest, because there's always going to be people that say this: you're stupid in your little channel. You're just stupid. That's right. Well, again, everybody has their own level of security and safety. I went out on a friend's patio up there on the 19th floor, and I walked out on the edge. Whoa, dude. I mean, not even to the edge. I stepped out 2 or 3 feet and was like, whoa, I get that feeling where something ain't right. And I know I need to step back. I knew that area. I know that area very well. I've stayed there before. For some period of time, I know all the back streets. I know graffiti wall. I know where Sweet George is. I know where the park is. I know where my old Airbnb is. And I knew where the police line was. And I knew where I had to get back to my hotel. And I knew that my hotel was protected. So I just needed to make it back to there. So everybody has their own level of security and safety. So just recognize that. But before I jump into the news stories, I do want to, again, bring up our fallen brother in Barranquilla Colombia, Timothy Revell Reed. And I am asking for your assistance again. This time I want to post John Ossoff's and Raphael Warnock's phone numbers. So let me show you right here. Okay, this first one is for John Ossoff. Here are his numbers. You can come back and pause this, but I'm also going to put the information in the description of this video. And this is all, if you're not familiar or you haven't been watching my recent videos, this is about the murder of an American businessman from Atlanta, Georgia, a Morehouse grad. He's a Morehouse man. And I've reached out to Morehouse, by the way. We'll see if I get any response from them. But reach out to your representatives if you live in this area. And if you don't, you can still make a phone call now. And I'm going this route because I emailed and my email came back saying, well, you don't live here, so it's not your business. In other words, I don't know if it was an order response or if somebody saw it and said, hey, you don't live here, so let me send this response. But anyway, in Atlanta, Georgia, his number is 470-786-7800. And in Washington, D.C., it's 202-224-3521. And this is for Senator John Ossoff of Georgia. I also want to show you for Raphael Warnock. He's the other senator for Georgia. His Washington, D.C. phone number is 202-224-3643. And in Atlanta, Georgia, his number is 770-694-9828. Again, if you don't have time to freeze it right now, write it down, or I would advise you to freeze it right now and write it down if you are going to participate. And I'm asking all my viewers, anybody who has concern for someone in another country who has been murdered, I don't want this story to just fall by the wayside. Another brother got killed for a gold chain. I'm thinking that there needs to be a fair and transparent investigation. In other words, they need to let us know what's going on. There's a few other things that have popped up. I have some investigators as viewers too. You guys are out there working it. And I had someone, and she doesn't want me to mention her name, but she sent me some stuff yesterday about his young lady's Facebook page. I will put that out in the next couple of videos if you're not familiar with who she is. And if she is watching this video by any chance, give me a call, give you a point of view, show your side. My condolences for your loss. I cannot assume either way that anybody was involved or not involved. I just know you need to be questioned, and everyone in that case needs to be questioned. And I would assume you would understand that as well. So, but on her Facebook page, she posted something after his passing that they had holding up a piece of paper with a civil union. So find that. I will post it, though. I have a link for it. I'll do it in the next couple of videos. But I have to get back to the news, and I'm back in the U.S., and I'm safe. So I want to get the news back out to you guys. So let's just jump into my first story. Okay?
And now the news.
180 people in Medellin are waiting to be placed in an ICU. I've been reading these stories for a while, and it shows how many people in Colombia have it. As of a few weeks ago, I think a month ago, it was like 8,000. Then the next week, it was like 9,000, then 10,000, then 11,000, then 12. As of yesterday, I read it was 15,000 positive per day. So it is growing. I wore my mask. I told you. You see me there, you're going to see me with a mask. I'll shake your hand, and I'll use my Germ-X. But I made it out safely. Again, you don't need the PCR test. Again, somebody asked about that. You just need the antigen. I had somebody from Sweet Georgia Cafe arrange it. Well, Rob arranged it for me, gave me her number, email address, contacted them. They actually came by my place and did it. So they'll come to you. It cost me less than $50. Okay, just the first couple of paragraphs in here because I wanted to know on my own. So what I did was I went to the hospital before I left and I walked around the hospital. So I'm going to show you that video in a second. But first it says the Medellin Municipal Ombudsman, William Yeffer Vivas Lloreda, reminded citizens of the occupancy figures at the ICU intensive care unit in the city of Medellin. In addition, he reminded them to always comply with biosecurity measures to avoid the spread of COVID-19. Sidebar. They do. When I get out of, I had to take a couple of taxis, I know, but Uber dropped me a couple of times. But normally I'm in an Uber. But in both, when I got out, they spray like I left behind some fumes. They spray everything and wipe everything. Before I had dental work and I saw my dentist during my lunch break, before you can step in the building, they fog you. You have to rotate around like a hot dog on a rotisserie or chicken rotisserie. You rotate around and they fog you. And then they put the booties on your foot as you step in the building one by one. So they're taking this seriously. Why is it growing? Again, I'd like to point to, my guess is it's the metro, or the Transmillennial, the buses, the long buses that run through the city. These people are packed in there. They have to be at work at a certain time. They have to be off at a certain time. So most of the bulk of the people are jammed in there together only over a few hours over a couple of periods throughout the day. But anyway, this says, let's not forget biosecurity measures. Today at 6 a.m. Medellin had 99% occupancy of its ICU and more than 180 people waiting to be placed in a bed. The fight against COVID-19 depends on everyone, stressed the Medellin official. Now, let me show you this video right quick because I'm outside of the hospital. So check it out. Okay, this is the hospital on the left. Go back around the front where there were a few people. It looks like they're urgent emergency room. So there's just a few people outside with the ambulances. Okay, I'm right outside the hospital, but I just wanted to see for myself if people were waiting on the outside trying to get in, and you see for yourself. A lot, they say there's ambulances waiting outside with people in them, but they can't get in. What I can't tell is if anybody is inside these ambulances. I would assume they are, otherwise why would the ambulances wait here? Why would they wait outside here and see? I don't know. You see there's enough taxi drivers though, but not much going on up the street. But I guess the emergency room is on the other side, but I'm going to guess that these are people waiting to get inside. But I just wanted to see for myself that there are people waiting outside. Whether or not they're family, I don't know. But there are ambulances all over the front of here. And they're running, which means they have the air conditioning on. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 on this side. And you'll see the rest of the city, there's nobody. At least I wanted to come by and at least see for myself if this was true. And there are people outside, but how many I really can't tell. Okay, again, so that's just my point of view. No commentary outside of what I said in the video, but that's what was actually outside of the main hospital downtown, just outside of El Centro. And supposedly my driver told me it's one of the best in the city. So to the next story. Colombians keep protesting despite curfew. And this is a good source I found, Telesur. They give some good information here. President Duque ordered the blocking of YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to make human rights violations invisible on social networks. Okay. Human rights advocates Andres Maiz confirmed that Colombians remained in the streets protesting on Tuesday night, despite the curfew imposed by President Iván Duque. Duque believed the curfew would prevent students, indigenous people, farmers, and Afro-descendants from continuing to protest against the systematic violations of their rights, Maiz said. Colombians also rejected the statements made by former President Alvaro Uribe, who issued messages requesting that the armed forces control the protest in a forceful and immediate manner. Uribe's violent onslaught will bring more blood, desperation, and misery to the people who are increasingly impoverished due to the pandemic, Maiz said. Okay, I know 7 young men who suffered eye injuries from rubber bullets One friend also has had head trauma and multiple fractures in his body after being brutally beaten by the police, he added. On Tuesday night, Duque ordered the blocking of YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter to make human rights violations invisible on social networks. This is the reason I believe that this SOS Colombia is going out. And I'm sure I'm not the only vlogger in Colombia that's getting these alerts too. They want to put the message out. If you're not familiar with why they started protesting, it was because of possible tax reform. Now, Duque has since rescinded that, but supposedly there's still more issues. Still the rich are getting richer and the poor are the ones that have to take the hit for it. And now during the president wanted all of this to happen during a pandemic while most of the city is locked down, because that lockdown is for real, y'all. I mean, yeah, there is Rappi, but people are hurting. And Rappi's just for food, liquor, and money. You know, it doesn't help you if you have a shoe business or, you know, it's rough. It is rough. I'm going to tell you a story in my next video about what I saw outside of my building. It's just, it's rough for the people there. So next story. This one is from El Colombiano. It says U.S. concern over protest in Colombia. So the U.S. is recognizing that there are issues there. The government of that country urged to moderate the actions in the public force to avoid more loss of life. The United States spokesman on Tuesday about the situation in public order and human rights in Colombia and declared itself saddened by the loss of human life during the protests. This was notified by that country through Yelena Porter, spokeswoman for the State Department. Throughout the world, citizens in democratic countries have the unquestionable right to protest peacefully. Violence and vandalism are an abuse of that right, the official remarked through the official notification. At the same time, the State Department called for maximum restraint on the part of the public force to avoid further loss of life. In this context, the document recognized the commitment of the government of Colombia to investigate complaints of police excesses and address any violation in human rights. We continue to support the efforts of the Colombian government to address the current situation through political dialogue, the text stated. Remember, at the end of this video, I'm going to show a lot of video of what's going on, just raw footage of what's going on. So stick around to the second half of this video. I'm just going to let that play throughout the end, but stick around. If you want to see what's going on there now, if you want to know how safe it is at certain times in certain areas, it's not everywhere. But is it vacation time? I can't tell you that. I can only tell you what, if I were not vlogging, I would not go right now. I mean, there's always Costa Rica. I'm getting ready to get back to Guatemala, I'm sure. So there are other places. Now, you guys are going to do what you won't do. But I ask myself, would I go down now? No, not a chance. No, not at all. No, none of us not agrees. A chance. Nope, we're all never happen. Nope, none of us are going to say that. That's right. Not right now. And when I do go back, I am going to have an attorney on standby and I'm going to have security. And the security is solely, not just walking around with security, but if I want to go out and film and feel comfortable, right now I don't feel comfortable walking around holding up a phone or holding up my Osmo Pocket or that crap Osmo Action. Still dealing with that camera locking up on me. Anyway, next story. UN Rights Office condemns Colombia crackdowns on protests. The UN says Colombian police in Cali opened fire on protests sparked by a government tax proposal. Seriously, I mean, it's crazy. The United Nations Human Rights Office has expressed deep alarm over the violence in the Colombian city of Cali, saying that police opened fire on people taking part in days of protest against proposed tax changes. In comments made on Tuesday during the press briefing in Geneva, spokeswoman Maria Hurtado said the body was working to verify the exact number of casualties, but reports suggested a number of people have been killed and wounded overnight in Cali. We express our profound shock at the events there and stress our solidarity with those who have lost their lives, as well as the injured and their families, she said. Okay. That was from Al Jazeera, by the way. Back to El Colombiano. Protests have left 364 people captured and 457 policemen injured. The National Police reported this Sunday after that, as a result of the complaints of abuse by authority in the framework of the protests, 20 disciplinary investigations have been opened and 2 police officers have been identified for specific events. The person in charge of providing this information was General Jorge Luis Vargas, who also added that he is working in coordination with the prosecutor's office, with the Institute of Legal Medicine, and with the country's health authorities to verify everything related to the deceased and injured. He added that at this time, there are 5 investigations that were assumed by the prosecutor's office. Okay, Duque says, we will install a space to listen to citizens. This is the president, Iván Duque. He says, after 7 continuous days of demonstrations in the country and less than 24 hours after the start of a new general mobilization called by the National Unemployment Committee for this May 5th, the president of the Republic, Iván Duque, made a public statement on Tuesday to announce the installation of a space to listen to citizens. It's a dialogue that, according to him, will seek to build solutions in which ideological differences should not mediate, that will begin this Wednesday, although a specific methodology is not yet known. The president assured that the space must have all the institutions, political parties, governors, mayors, and leaders of civil society motivated by the service to the citizenry, as he said. Okay. He's getting the space for you. Back to Telesur. Repressive actions in the midst of national strike in Colombia. More than 20 rally points have been reported throughout the country to demand the repeal of a tax reform presented by President Duque. Demonstrators participating in the national strike in Colombia against the tax reform promoted by President Iván Duque. His government denounced the repression of the mobile anti-riot squad, ESMAD, in several cities such as Cali, Medellin, Bogota. Okay, ESMAD are the ones that have the RoboCop, set up on, where they are like protected. The riot squad. The ESMAD arrives to disperse everyone. The people were calm without doing any damage. And ESMAD arrived to set everything on fire, said one of the demonstrations to the local media outlet in Medellin, where the demonstrations were carried out peacefully until midday this day. The councilwoman of that city, Dora Saldarriga, denounced in social networks the aggressions by the security forces, the people who were peaceful, and the ESMAD arrived to intimidate and dissolve the march. Now, everybody said, I've got a couple of comments from people saying, oh, the police said disperse, and they did, and they shot. So the police were aggressive, because I mentioned that, they always do that. They start, and then the people fight back, and then it just goes back and forth. It was peaceful what I saw. It was peaceful in the video. If you saw my video, it was peaceful what I saw before they shot the tear gas and then mayhem, and it was time for me to scoot at that point. National strike, violence and clashes are lived in Cali. Cali is off the chain right now. I think out of all the cities, it's everywhere. It's Bogota, it's Medellin, it's Cartagena. For those who want to escape to Cartagena and get away, it's there too. The protests are everywhere. The taxis are getting involved with the slow crawl, and so they're going to shut down some of the streets. But this says, once again, the city of Cali is a scene of confrontations between civilians and ESMAD agents. On the night of this Monday, 3rd, through social networks, users denounced acts of violence by the uniform. The mobilization day began at 5:30 in the morning, had a faithful development. The reflection of the complaints is present on social networks. In fact, the broadcasts were joined by singers and influencers who seek to make visible the wave of violence that the city is experiencing. Again, I'm going to show the videos in a couple of minutes, so hang in there with me. A couple more stories. This one's from Telesur. Colombia, labor unions call for strike against tax reform. The social anger was unleashed after the government proposed to increase the price of basic food products to raise tax revenues. Colombia's National Strike Committee and the Unitary Workers Central called for a national strike on April 28th against the tax reform promoted by President Iván Duque. The tax bill presented by Congress by Treasury Minister Alberto Carrasquilla aims to increase prices of basic food products to increase tax revenues. The reform will affect the most vulnerable people in the working class, and it's time to stop for life, peace, and democracy, and against Duque's abusive reforms, the organization stated. Unions are calling for people to support the strike from their homes by putting up posters against the tax reform in red rags, and is a traditional symbol of protest in Colombia. Okay, again, if you're getting any benefit out of my videos, do me a favor, go down and hit the subscribe button. Click the bell to be alerted of any new videos. I thank you guys for watching. For all my new people who have joined me over the past few weeks, do me a favor, go back and check out some of my older videos from there, whether in Guatemala, or check out my ones in Vietnam. Check out the other videos too. I try to put out as much content as I can that's related to travel. This is a travel channel, but I focus on Colombia, so this is why you're seeing these videos. Okay, this one again, Colombia reported 15,900 new COVID cases in 24 hours. I only put this one in because I wanted you to know that it was 9,000 a couple of weeks ago. So, and it went up to 10,000, to 11,000. And I watch this every day, so, and I'm seeing it growing. So if you're, and I'm not going over the lockdown right now. I'm going to do it in my next video. There are still lockdowns. There's still curfews. There's still extra curfews, like the one that was put on me last Saturday at 12 noon. They said, okay, until Monday, nobody can come out. We don't care about anything. And it was because of the violence and the protests, not because of COVID. So it's crazy there now. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in, and I was there and I was looking, and it's just a lot of things need to be addressed. I cannot get into their politics of things and why things are happening and how they're happening. I can only show you so you can make an informed decision. But if you're concerned about lockdown times, if you're going to ask me right now, what about Cartagena? What's their lockdown? If you watch the videos that I'm getting ready to show and you ask me, what are the lockdown hours? Is the beach still open in Cartagena? Then you may want to look at it from another point of view, okay? Because there's other things going on right now that are overshadowing that by big time and will be a big consequence in your trip should you decide to go. I don't say go or not go. Can only tell you what I would do. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Check these videos out. This is raw footage sent to me by you, the viewers. So let me know what you think about it. Comment, join our not WhatsApp group, but join our community group. Send me your WhatsApp number and your email to dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. dcbornrobgroup@gmail.com. Check these videos out.
Parce. Ay, no. Ay, parce, no.
Estaba pacífica, están disparando.
policía! ¡Corran! ¡Juanita, corran! ¡Corran, corran!
¿Dónde están los papás de este lado? Mire, cuidado. Ay, Dios mío, le dieron. Ay. Le dieron. Ay, Dios mío.
Calcho es la que le pegaron.
Qué huecote tan aleta. Qué huecote, mano. Qué huecote tan hijo de puta.
Todo bien, señores agentes. No me hicieron nada.
Las traumas. Vea la mujer. Mírele ese hueco. Mírele ese hueco, vea. Traumática.
Esto en este momento está pasando en Metropolitano del Norte. Miren, la policía mató a uno de sus compañeros, a uno mismo. El SMAT le tocó meterse en esta unidad porque los querían coger a todos.
Lo cogió, ay marica, lo cogió.
Así está, así se puso más el comercio, así se puso. Así se puso. ¡Puta! Se puso feo.
Se rinden o quieren más. Se rinden o quieren más. Vamos, 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 vamos. Vamos, pueblo. Vamos. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Se nos van a unir o qué? ¿Se van a unir a nosotros o qué? Estemos alerta, estemos alerta. La fuerza pública se une al pueblo. La fuerza pública se une al pueblo. Tienen que entenderlo, que es por ustedes también. Es por ustedes también, es por ustedes también. Es por ustedes también. Es por ustedes, es por ustedes. Es por ustedes también, comando, es por ustedes. Ustedes también son pueblo, ustedes también son pueblo. Ustedes son pueblo. Ustedes también son pueblo. Ustedes son pueblo. ¡Ah! ¡El pueblo! ¡El pueblo! Ustedes también son pueblo, comandante. Yo fui de la fuerza también. Ustedes son pueblo. Ustedes son pueblo. Jamás será vencido el pueblo unido. 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 Jamás será vencido. Nos hemos ganado acá. Lleguen, lleguen, lleguen. Lleguen. La autoridad está con nosotros. Lleguen, lleguen, lleguen.
Se metieron a las bicicletas. Mira, mira, mira. ¡Ratas! Ay, parce, mira.
¡Lo mataron! ¡Ustedes lo mataron! ¡Ustedes! ¡Ábrense! ¡Denle aire! ¡Ábranse! ¡Échense para atrás! ¡Échense para atrás! ¡Puta mierda! ¡Eso, graben! ¡Eso, graben! ¡Abren espacio! ¡Abran espacio! ¡Abran espacio! ¡Otro muerto más! ¡Felicitaciones! ¡Los felicito! ¡Buena!
Esto en este momento está pasando en Metropolitano del Norte. Miren, la policía mató a uno de sus compañeros, a uno mismo. El SMAT le tocó meterse en esta unidad porque los querían coger a todos.
¿Cómo le van a dar, ve?
Vea, tránsito de Cartago, tránsito de Cartago, vea cómo vean a tránsito de Cartago, todas las motos las quemaron, todas. Ay, jueputa. Ay, culo.
Uf, vea cómo agarraron. Uy, ma, ahora sí tocó meternos. Uy, ahora sí nos pusieron a correr. Vea, vea, como se las devuelven, vea cómo la cogen.
Muchachos, tengo 2 heridos aquí de tiro en la casa, vean. Ahí va 1, 2, 3, vean. De bala, vea, de bala. Ahí llevan al primero, al amarillo que está allá. Bala. Hay otros que se han tirado en el piso, ya lo vean. Bala, vea, bala. Este es el más grave. El que está al pie de azul es el más grave, el que está al pie de mi sobrino.
Vamos, ahí. Es que ellos estaban replegados ahí en Colombia. No, pero es que